Hello, welcome to a very special edition of La Maison Simplex here in Paris at Sorbonne, France's most prestigious university. I'm here with Rodrigo Castillo and João, CEO of Simplex, at this very special edition here in Paris. We're going to talk about innovations in marketing, global brands, and of course, AI. It's great to have you here, Rodrigo. It's great to have you here, João.
A pleasure.
Thank you guys for inviting me.
Thank you guys. Come from all the way from Mexico.
All the way from
to
Mexico
Paris.
here to Paris. Thank you very much.
We speak Portuguese, we speak Spanish, but we're doing in English for our
In
global
English.
audience,
For
right?
audience, yes.
Sorry, my Portuguese is not that good yet.
My Spanish is much more like a Portugal, but it's funny how we always connect our cultures. We were just talking about soap operas and the cultural references. We are much more like cousins or even brothers than distant relatives, right?
Yeah, totally.
So I would like to begin this conversation talking about the $1 million question, AI. And I'll begin with you, Rodrigo. How is AI taking your sleep or giving you good dreams, good perspectives in marketing and building global brands?
Yeah, I think as you said, that's the $1 million question. I don't think it's taking out actually my dreams. It's taking good dreams actually. We are using AI as an advantage, as a tool that it's actually organizing and bringing us data and understanding data way faster than the way that we used to do it. We are right now trying to use AI to make decisions as fast as we can in an environment where businesses are growing so fast, and when you need to make decisions so fast, and where consumers have a lot of information so immediate, you need to make decisions on a really fast pace. And I think that the AI it's making an advantage on our side when you really know how to use it. We are actually at RBI and working with Simplex, doing a lot of information process and analysis that are allowing us actually to make dashboards and decisions that can actually bring more effective marketing strategies. So basically, for example, on the CRM side, we are building journeys and understanding what are the times on a faster pace where, I don't know, any type of communication can be shared to the customer, rather than, waiting for Friday and start analyzing data and, having a decision after a moment that, the actual moment of truth might have happened before you are actually building or bringing that decision to the market. So it's quite an advantage, I think. Obviously, you need to understand how data is related to that and how you're actually bringing that information and generating intelligence through artificial intelligence, so that you can actually benefit the business from these models and these new technologies. In the end, you need to cope and go away and go along with that kind of technology and actually use it in your favor.
So at this point, it's much more a tool to process a lot of data, to give you new insights, not yet a magic AI that is taking decisions and changing the game.
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, the decisions are totally human-based, and that's why there's somebody at the back of the data actually making these insights and saying, okay, I think that we should do this and we should do that. In the end, we're talking about human behavior, that it's translated probably through a tool that it's, actually capable of analyzing data so much faster than we do. But in the end, you still need to have that gut, that kind of hunch that allows you to say, okay, according to what I'm seeing here, this is the path that we should follow. So, I mean, we're using these for not very basic things, but things that can be actually automated. As I said before, for example, saying, okay, let's allow AI to make a decision on which time is a right moment for a customer to receive a communication, so that it's actually more able to turn into a sale, more with a commercial focus, let's say. But regarding the way that they are behaving before, I mean, it's just an analysis. When you have to be creative, obviously, AI it's not there for, bringing that local insight. As you have said before, we Latin Americans have a very specific market. So this is more, this is where we as a human bring the decision, and you don't allow AI to, make a campaign for you. So it's just, processing data.
I'll pass the ball to you, João, as we say in Brazil, being very literal, for the $1 million question. Is AI taking your sleep or giving you good dreams?
That's a very good question. I think that it's not $1 million question. I think it's 1 zillion. I don't know what's larger than 1 billion. Probably
Trillion.
A trillion,
and
yeah.
then more than trillion, zillion. I don't know. I think it's the main question, not only for me and my market, but for everybody. What's going to happen with AI? Regarding what I do, we do SEO. So Simplex is a company that focuses on improve the traffic that goes to my client through Google. That's what it is. The first point is people are slowly migrating to another kind of interaction with the internet. So back to the time when we were teenagers, we used to go to Google, browse Google, search for something, and then we get so used to it that's normal for us to go to Google and make a question. Younger people now are going straight to any LLM, ChatGPT, DeepSeek, and so on, and make the question there. So the first point, and the point that is taking out my sleep, is that people were moving from Google, which was the center of the internet by the time, and still the center of the internet for a lot of people, and they are moving to another interface. So the question is, what's going to happen? This is changing fast, and faster than I was expecting. And actually, what I'm doing, I'm trying to adapt ourselves to be present as a result, as a recommendation of an AI, of LM AI. So in our point of view, as Simplex, what is taking our sleep, but it's also a great opportunity is to understand how to be present as a recommendation inside any question you might make for LLM. When you go to taking you as example, where can I buy the best burger in Mexico? Obviously, it's Burger King. But if it goes to Google, Google will answer Burger King has the best Whopper. Right? But then you go to LLM, the answer might vary for one person to another. So how to be present?
So you got an extra layer between you and your final consumer, right?
Exactly.
You have to be present at LLM and then go into your final consumer.
And this is actually really true because in the end we were actually reviewing at RBI, and because RBI owns several companies, just BK probably or Burger King is the biggest one, but we are also working with Tim Hortons and Popeyes and Firehouse Subways, and we have seen as a trend that from December to May, the searches that are going through AI are actually doubling. Still are not beyond 1% of the searches that are getting into the website, but this is, this was in a matter of months. We were actually doubling the amount of searches that were coming through AI. So this is something that is not happening in the next 2 years. It's happening in the next months. This is evolving on a level that we have never seen before on a technology level. It's something that we are seeing that it's basically alive by itself. It's something
very fast paced.
Yeah, totally. It's amazing the way that AI is actually shaping the way that we are looking at how we gather information and how we as brands give information to our customers.
So you two are pointing out something very, very interesting. You have to change something that was almost untouchable for like 2 decades, the way we relate with Google and the way we will send information or be present to be found by our consumers. How can we address that?
Please.
I think that there are several ways that at least we as a brand and using people on agencies like Simplex are actually trying to achieve. First of all, AI is still a machine. We need to humanize the way that these responses are going to the users. The idea of this is actually making the machine understand that the one that it's or the final customer is actually a person. So it needs to feel natural. I think that that's one of the ways that you need to address it. And obviously understanding also how AI is collecting this information so that it can be relevant and use the data not only from you as a source or as a brand, but also the data that it's, going from or coming from the customer, so that you can actually make a personalized response to the customer. Something that it's actually relevant to their heads. You know what I mean? The idea is actually not just bring any answer, it's bring an answer that can be actually personalized, and this is something that the AI can do really fast. So I think that choosing or at least mixing both of these inputs in terms of information so that you can have a personalized answer, it's the way that you can address that. And we as a company, as RBI, we are looking forward actually to have obviously products that are always on a trend, that it's actually something that is following trends from or coming from the users, and also keeping up our websites and obviously our apps as a main source of information. There's a lot of information also out there on the websites that cannot be sometimes under your control. So you have to be very careful on what you're putting there.
Your thoughts, João?
Okay. I think there's important thing is about how can I feed an AI. It's very important about thinking about the website itself. When you build a website, for the people that doesn't work with this, it's simple. You just create a home page, then other pages, some navigational, some transactional pages, a login page. Seems to be something simple. And it's like an iceberg. You're just watching the tip of it. When you're talking about AI, when you're talking about Google and what it is, and what we do at Simplex, we're talking about be able to communicate to bot. So when you're working on SEO, for example, we are working in the integration between your content and your website with a Google bot. For ChatGPT, for example, is the same. You have the website, information is there to be seen. But the bot, the spider, the crawler of an AI, of OpenAI, will browse the website, will navigate through your website, and will try to find the information inside the website. So even before thinking about, I want to be present, I want to be part of the response, part of the possible response inside ChatGPT, I have to think about how to create a site that has enough information, and information as precise as it needs to be, to feed a bot. How can I feed DeepSeek? How can I feed ChatGPT with my website? So we start now to thinking about the website itself, www.something.com, as a structure that answers the customer, the client who are browsing, and also feeds those AIs. So there's a new dimension when you're talking about IT and about when you talk about create a website. It's not just something I did. It's the main entry point of information when I'm trying to connect myself, my company, with LLM. So that's important and change the way we work with this.
It is something very interesting what you're saying, João, because when I hear you, I think about, I want to hear from you, Rodrigo, as well. I have to learn to talk to something new. My communication, my advertisement, my online presence has to be focused directly into the consumer, but also thinking about talking with these LLM models that are growing, are changing, are moving really fast every day.
Yeah, and in the end, it's an interface that we're dealing with here. So the idea, we were before this, we were actually talking to another interface, Google, on an SEO level, that we wanted actually to have a response level that was actually relevant to the queries that the user was actually generating on Google. So the idea of this, it's complicated. Sometimes it's scary, but in the end, you need, and João said it really clear. You need to be the source of information. In the end, you are. We as brand, we own our most valuable asset, which is basically the brand, Burger King, Popeyes, Tim Hortons. So basically, we want to be the source of information, and we need to understand how to build those websites, and not only the website, all the sources of information that come or that can be actually related to the brand. For example, RBI as a global company, how we are actually managing connections between what Burger King is talking about and RBI is talking about in terms of the same brand, because in the end, though the brand or the owner or the group or the corporation, it's Restaurant Brands International, we need to understand how we are actually also feeding information to Burger King, because in the end, those are related. And these kind of things that social media, for example, how we as owners of social media can actually be also feeding information to our website. In the end, how all of these things are linked together so that we can actually create meaningful resources that become or transform ourselves into, as I said before, the true source of information.
But hearing you giving that explanation, I also think about the very unique experience that a meal provides for a family, for a group of friends. And this is an offline experience. And it will always be until we become the Matrix or something like that. But how do you keep promoting that and also saying to your consumers, let's enjoy that offline moment together?
You know what? Though it's something that it's happening on an offline world, it's something that beyond the offline or the online thing, it's something that you need to decide immediately. You know, this is something. It's not. It's a decision that needs to be made at the moment. You know, so in the end, we need to be relevant on a very short period of time. That's why this is so important, because in the end, probably you will be looking for a meal for your family through Google Maps, for example, or you will be asking. Actually, I mean, I'm a Mexican in Paris. Probably I will ask ChatGPT, where can I eat? What's a nice restaurant in Paris? What's good, cheap, and healthy, or whatever. So basically, in the end, you're asking questions to make a decision that it's basically for the next minutes. So that's why you need to keep on relevant, and in the end, you are generating this. You become so relevant as far as you feed this information, as João said, and then you stay true to the values or the core values of Burger King. In the end, if you're looking for something that is going to solve a problem on the immediate future, then that's the answer. In the end, we will try to obviously address certain products to the type of people that or the type of guests that we're having on a restaurant. It's probably not only families. You're going there with your couple, or you're going there alone because you are on a backpack trip, and then you are trying to find something that it's really good and that it's savvy and that it's not expensive. It's a good option for you to have a meal, or you can have an internet connection, for example. Now, those kind of things that not necessarily relate to food but to the experience of a restaurant, are also things that we need to also embed on the experience for the customer. So in the end, and going back to the point, probably sometimes I speak a lot, but you do interrupt me. But so I think that this has to do with first of all, the ability of allowing the customer to make an immediate decision, and second of all, making the client understand that the experience goes beyond the food. It solves a problem, not just for you and your immediate surrounding, but for you and some other people. So I think that's the way that we are addressing right now.
I'd like to hear from you, João, how Simplex and good SEO practices and good adaptations in websites, as you said, can help improve this very genuine experience of the consumer that really connects them with the brand.
That's very. We can come back to the basics. We're talking about something that AI will not change. I have to eat something, then I have to go to a place, take something and eat. This is completely offline. There is no substitution for it. So let's take the example you're bringing about Google Maps, okay? And this is very simple. What is the question that I can make right now that can make me go to a Burger King restaurant? I can go to Google right now, place to eat, restaurant open nearby, restaurant open near to Sorbonne University, where we are. So those questions are very simple, but LLM, a large language model, cannot find out where can I find a restaurant and whether the restaurant is open or not, working or not. Those are information that should be structured by the owner and should be sent into internet. How does Google know that your restaurant is there in that place and it's open or closed right now? Because you have the information we send to Google. There is something called Google My Business, and we deal with this. So we send the information where the place is it open or not? So the information is fresh there. This very simple information should be shared also with the LLM, so they can research and send you the answer. So there is no magic. It's not something that you bring that is revolutionary. You're just saying the correct information to those systems. But what happens at the end of the day, when a client are searching for something, you give to them the right information. And this right and precise information will lead them to your store or to your restaurant. Then you make a conversion on this. This is much more important to keep the information fresh and updated to the bots. It's much more important than to have something great, something new that are disrupting the market. No, just give the right information because people are searching for this. Give the right information, then they will go to your store, they will go to the restaurant, they will buy. And it's easy to measure. People are going, people are not going, people are searching, people are not querying. So I think that we can start from the basics and have much more results than thinking about out of the blue strategies.
And this is something actually that we actually practice every day. There are several formats of restaurants in Mexico. Well, and actually for the business as Burger King, some of them they have auto key, basically where you can go and use your car and ask for your hamburger and then go out. You don't have to go out of the car. This is something that we don't have that mapped in Google. People don't know where they can actually go and ask for a hamburger without going out of the car. So this is something that we actually mapped and saw really good results in that terms. And also it's something that talks about the immediate responses that the client requires. Usually when you are driving, you don't have time to check your phone. You need something that is close, that it's closer to you, that it's immediate, that it's, where can I actually go there and not get out of my car? So we saw that there was a huge opportunity there, and there were not a lot of information completed for our restaurants, and that's how we become also the true source of information. So I think that João expresses better than myself, but that's really true. It's not magic. It was just saying the truth to the people, and then the machine and the interface will take that information and translate that into something that it's readable for our guests. So yeah, that's actually a pretty good example.
It is something very basic but very important, and it can be refined, it can be remodulated with AI, right?
Yeah.
Going to our final statements, we have two countries here, Brazil and Mexico, are way more similar than we usually think. We are more like brothers in Latin America. Rodrigo, for a Brazilian brand or a Mexican brand, the ideal posture right now to ride the wave and not be wiped out by it?
It's a tough question because in the end, I think I said it before, the most valuable asset that you have is your name. The most valuable asset that Burger King has is the name Burger King. So I think that being truthful to the people and to your audiences and to your guests it's the most important thing. And in the end, this is totally offline. You will say the truth all the time, and you will say the truth online or offline, but you need to have a true customer relationship and a true, a really transparent customer experience within the restaurant. So in the end, everything is consumed right at the restaurant. So I think that the most important part is to be truthful, have the information there, be transparent. In the end, we are using AI just as an interface. In the end, the final customer is still a human. I will not talk about probably creating videos or generating some sort of other stuff. The idea of this is actually using these as a tool to enhance the power of a brand. And I think that being always truthful to the core values of the brand and the things that you're offering to the client and to the customer is the way that you can actually strive to have success within this AI new world. Yeah.
Perfect. And what about you, João?
I do agree. Actually, just a split in two. I was talking about AI and provide information to AI, but at the end of the day, we're providing information to the AI, so the AI can provide the right information to your customer. So by the end of the day, we're just providing a service, a better service to the customer, to the client. When I'm making something like an API that feeds the information with the exact position and opening time of each store. I'm not doing this because Google likes, because ChatGPT likes. I'm doing this because The people need this information, and that's the best way to provide a good service. So I think it's a very good way to think. It's about, okay, I'm working for someone. I'm working to provide the best service, the best product to the client. So keeping this in mind, I think that helps us to take the best decision. The second part is brand itself. It's very important. We're talking about ChatGPT, DeepSeek, Google, doesn't matter. We're talking about Burger King, Popeyes, Tim Hortons, big brands. Somehow, because of the experience, because of the people, the thing that people know, they go there and browse Burger King. It doesn't happen from on the vacuum. It doesn't happen out of the blue. They know the brand, so people must know the brand, must trust the brand, and people should have this brand as top of mind. This will help you in AI. It will help you on Google. Will help you in all the digital strategy. By the end of the day, it's one thing, digital and offline. And you are providing a service or a product to someone and not to a bot. You provide something to the bot, so bot provides to the people. So I think that answer your question directly, you provide the best information and the most structured information to the people. And they will decide if they go to Google, ChatGPT, or whatever.
Rodrigo, João, it was a pleasure. I learned a lot, and I think that we still have a lot to learn as marketing directors, and I think we have a new moment for everybody, and it was great to hear your thoughts on this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you,
so
João, for
It's a pleasure.
the invite here.
Yes.
Thank you very
We are
much.
almost agreeing in everything. That's great.
Yeah, that's cool.
Thank you,
So-
Marcos.